Hi everyone. Our webinar today is on the new Second Step Middle School program, and I'm really excited to have you all here with me today so that you can learn about the program, and we're really excited to tell you about the program itself. We're going to take about 45 minutes to talk about the barriers to learning, the opportunities and challenges of adolescence and the middle school years, and the role of social emotional learning. I'll give you a thorough overview of our new middle school program and tell you where to find more information and leave you with contact details at the end should you want to get a hold of us for further information. To introduce myself, I'm Magella McNeese from Committee for Children. Before we start talking about social emotional learning and Second Step for middle school, I'd like to tell you a bit about the organisation Committee for Children. We are a non-profit organisation with a mission to foster the safety and well-being of children through social emotional learning and development. We were chartered in 1979 to help victims of child sexual abuse, and since then we've championed the cause of advancing the safety and well-being of children through advocacy, leadership in the field, and our well-known social emotional learning and child safety programs. We advocate at both the state and federal level for policies and laws that support social emotional learning in schools, prevent bullying, and protect children. We really like to think of ourselves as pioneers leading the field in a uniquely comprehensive approach and connecting experts who share experiences and research to work toward continual improvement in this field. Our social emotional learning programs address a critical need in schools. They're really widely adopted, they're easy to use, they're engaging, and most importantly, they're based in rigorous research. For this effectiveness, we're genuinely thankful for the thousands of educators and counsellors who successfully implement and use our programs. Today, our programs reach more than 14 million children each year in over 70 countries worldwide. From our headquarters in Seattle, we partner with researchers, publishers, and nonprofits around the world, and we work tirelessly to make sure all children have a chance to thrive. We lift up children today so they're able to create a safe and positive society for the future. So with Second Step, educators give early learning through grade 8 students the tools and environment they need to excel in the classroom and in life. Second Step offers a combination of the Second Step SEL program, bullying prevention unit, and child protection unit. Together, these research-based programs help improve behavior, build a positive school environment, and address safety. On the right, you can see we are also the creators of MindYeti. You may have heard of it. It's a mindfulness app that is really taking off both in schools and in homes. MindYeti helps kids settle the hubbub and get their minds ready, whether it's time to calm down, focus, or go to sleep. So now that you know more about our organization, let's dive into social emotional learning for middle school. Let's start by thinking about middle schoolers. What challenges do they face? You probably have some in mind, and I invite you to go ahead and start typing your examples in the chat box. While you're doing that, just from our perspective, when we began looking at creating an SEL program for this grade band, this was a question we asked many times over, and then looked at how those challenges get in the way of learning and thriving in middle school. It's a great place to start when thinking about solutions. I see some of you are typing in the chat box here with some of the challenges that you identify in your students. Yeah, Stephanie says handling emotions. That's definitely something that comes up a lot in those adolescent years. Social media stresses, lack of study skills, having older friends and navigating that friendship between different age groups. Fitting in, challenges are puberty, peer pressure, communication, bullying, anxiety, not wanting to stand out, feeling embarrassed, hormones, parents, changing friendships. These are really great responses. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, a few more coming through, but I'll leave you with those for now. So as we make this list, hopefully you've started thinking about your classrooms and the inner world of your middle school students. It can be daunting to think about adolescents and the issues that keep them from being successful socially, emotionally, and academically during this age. So now let's look at the skills they need, or let's put it this way. If we had all the time, all the money, and all the buy-in from schools and staff, what skills would we teach them to be able to help them to be successful? So how about the ability to build positive relationships, or perhaps decision-making? Other skills that we might add to the list, and feel free to use the chat box again to add yours. Perhaps, standing up to bullying, self-regulation, how to manage frustration and how to cope, conflict resolution, improving self-esteem, collaboration skills, critical thinking, able to navigate racial comments, coping skills, how to stay organized. Thanks, everyone. Those are really good contributions to the skills that our students need to be able to be successful in school. They need these skills, and the good news is that we can help. It really comes down to us being able to teach middle schoolers about math and grammar and history, but how do we help them become better people? That question is at the heart of our new program. It's a social emotional curriculum that supports the whole child. And on that note, I'd like to play a video for you.
So glad you guys were all courageous to be here today. We're going to have an opportunity to get to talk about a lot of things, and some of those might be things you've never shared with anyone. We're going to be watching a short video. After we watch the video, we'll be having some questions and opportunity for you to respond.
A couple years ago, I had bullied a kid.
And we started getting really mad at each other. We started having fights a lot.
Because my friends are like, come on, bro, you gonna take that?
He wanted this girl to feel bad about herself.
I think the most difficult part was I don't think anyone wanted to truly hurt her.
I think that bullying has evolved.
If you have a phone, you have social media, nothing is private anymore.
Being different can be bad at middle school because it's easier for people to pick on you.
There were a lot of things that came up in that video. Just wondering what might have come up for some of you in watching that.
In middle school, most of the time you're trying to find out who you really are.
People don't feel safe because they know that they might get in trouble, and the teachers haven't seen that because it happens during passing periods. So if someone doesn't address that, then no one knows about it.
I've learned that if I just say, when I've talked to the person, they've always been nice to me, and I almost kind of realize that what they're doing isn't nice to others.
It's kind of a good experience sometimes, to make a mistake because you learn from that. So I'm glad that it happened because I learned from it and I came out of it with a good friend.
I'd like school to be a more accepting place.
I'd like middle school to be less judgmental.
If I could say something to a teacher, I would tell them that it's not all about just being a good teacher, it's about connecting with the students.
I would ask them to really connect with the students so they can help us through hard times.
Be more understanding of your students and what they're going through, because middle school is a time of change.
So thanks so much for watching that. Earlier, when we were talking about the challenges that middle schoolers face, we touched on early adolescence, and some of you mentioned that in the chat box as well. It's a time when academic expectations increase, friendships can become less stable, and it's a time when behavioral and health problems can emerge or worsen, with negative consequences that can last into their futures. So what an incredible time of learning, exploration, and risk. This is a time when social emotional learning can really make a difference and help students succeed in school and in life. So let's make sure that when we talk about SEL, we're thinking about the same thing. On this slide are the 5 social emotional learning competencies, and this is based on work by the Collaborative for Academic, Social and Emotional Learning, or CASL, and you can find out more about CASL and their research at casl.org. So let's go through them. The 5 competencies are understanding and managing emotions, setting and achieving positive goals, feeling and showing empathy for others, establishing and maintaining positive relationships, and making responsible decisions. These competencies can be taught in many ways across many settings and are a great way to sum up what social emotional learning can do to help students. Another related and interesting thing to look at are the top 10 skills needed to be successful in a career as identified by the World Economic Forum. 6 of them involve social emotional competence, such as people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision-making, service orientation, and negotiation. These are social emotional skills that we can address. Second Step gives you everything you need to teach students the skills and concepts like emotion management, resolving conflicts, and making decisions based on their values. It creates a forum to be heard and to share, and it fosters a culture of connectedness. Our approach to teaching SEL is based in years of partnership with educators and researchers. So let's go a bit further into our approach. Research. So for those familiar with Committee for Children, you know that as a nonprofit, we're set up to be 100% mission-driven, not profit-driven. That means we get to be undistracted in our focus on results. We make sure everything we do is based on the best research and practice available as we create and revise our programs. The new middle school program is no different. So the previous version of our middle school program that was released in 2008 has been widely used to help students communicate better, to build empathy, manage emotions, and solve problems. In creating this new iteration, we looked at the latest research and developments in technology and SEL and realized there was an opportunity to innovate. Scientists on staff started the process with an investigation and analysis of research in the field, and educational designers brought their decades of curriculum development experience to incorporate modern technology in ways that improve the teaching experience and engage students. Then we put the program to the test in classrooms across the country with 2 years of piloting and refinement. And because it's web-based, we can continue to add resources and update content to respond to the latest research and feedback. So let's drill into what you see here on the slide. Research shows that these 6 areas of social emotional learning positively influence outcomes for youth. Social connectedness. So when social connectedness is threatened, academic performance drops. Having a greater feeling of social connectedness increases academic achievement. The second one you see there is values. Reflecting on their values helps students maintain self-control and feel more socially connected and pro-social, and this effect is actually stronger for youth who struggle with behavior problems. Interventions based on values can improve students' grade. Growth mindset, there's a lot of buzz around growth mindset at the moment, and this idea is getting a lot of attention, and rightly so. Having a growth mindset about intelligence can affect students' academic goals. They believe they can learn versus thinking they're not intelligent. They believe trying hard creates success rather than indicating a lack of ability. And they respond to setbacks and difficulties by trying new strategies and working harder versus giving up. Also, having a growth mindset about one's own personality, not just intelligence, but our personality and others' personalities has really been shown to reduce depression and improve how students respond to social exclusion and peer hostility. So it's really powerful stuff. The next one there is emotion management. The kind of stress common to middle school peer conflicts can hinder cognitive processing, which makes students' responses potentially more destructive. And research shows that adolescents can learn a variety of strategies to manage their emotions. They can step back from emotional experiences in ways that increase their ability to choose how to respond rather than simply reacting to situations. Implementation intentions is something that you'll also notice has a big focus in the program. We have extensive research that has shown that implementation intentions help people accomplish goals well above and beyond simple goal setting by itself. So in this program, we explain a strategy for building what is known as an if-then plan, which maps to this research. Setting goals with implementation intentions is especially effective for students with self-regulation challenges. We also focused on perspective taking. Research shows that empathy reduces aggressive behavior in children and adolescents. Perspective taking has been shown to reduce bullying among middle school students. Skills and concepts related to this area of research are woven throughout the program's lessons and advisory activities. So that's really a quick overview of the research and a little bit about our process as well, and how we look at that research and tie it into the program. And together those really form the backbone and the basis of the program. I hope we have given you some valuable information, and as I mentioned before, we do have a more in-depth review of research available on secondstep.org, and we will provide you with some contact details at the end in case you want to dig a little deeper and chat to somebody a little more about that. So moving on, by now you might be thinking, okay, let's have a look at the program. So I'm going to show you the program in a brief product tour video.
The easy-to-navigate and easy-to-teach Second Step Middle School program engages students with relevant, interactive lessons, helps students develop social-emotional skills, and gives teachers everything they need to build a culture of connectedness. The program is web-based. Everything's online, so there are no boxes or notebooks to keep track of. Educators simply go online, project the lessons, and facilitate them. The online portal has 4 sections: Teach, Extend, Professional Development, and with school-wide licenses, a Principal Toolkit. In the Teach section, instructors can preview the material with minimal prep time, access lessons, and view progress. The intuitive interface makes it easy to navigate through the lessons together with students. Lessons cover a variety of topics that address the issues faced by today's middle schoolers. Many lessons feature game-like challenges to engage students. Videos introduce social-emotional concepts in developmentally appropriate ways that lead to dynamic discussions. Real Voices let students see and hear people their own age speaking out for themselves and coping with problems in different ways. All lessons include collaborative activities and discussion prompts to get students practicing their social-emotional skills right away. There are also summative assessments for each unit to help teachers evaluate whether the lesson objectives have been met. In the Extend section, advisory activities help you reinforce lesson concepts or build a complete advisory program around second step lessons. Choose from nearly 200 activities based on 14 program themes. Under SEL and Academics, you'll find academic lesson plans, SEL rubrics, academic and behavioral standards alignments, and other useful resources. Extend second step skills to the home through family letters, weekly updates, and the resource website parentingconnect.org, which offers real stories, expert advice, and practical tools to help families communicate, connect, and break through on hot-button topics. The Professional Development section includes a wealth of support materials to prepare educators for delivering the Second Step program. Program Training offers an overview of core concepts and the research base for the lessons, plus teaching tips for successful student learning. There is also a dedicated training module for building a Second Step advisory program. Professional Learning supports educators by helping them reinforce their own social-emotional skills and build a growth mindset, and by providing strategies for positive student-teacher relationships. Both Program Training and Professional Learning are designed with busy schedules in mind, with modular learning experiences that can be completed individually or in a group. We know that a principal's active support is crucial to the successful implementation of the Second Step program. Your school-wide license will unlock the Principal Toolkit, which is loaded with resources to promote, support, and monitor the success of the program throughout the school. With school-wide implementation that builds a culture of connectedness, you'll maximize the impact of the program on school climate and student outcomes. We hope you enjoyed this short tour of the Second Step Middle School program, and we can't wait for you to experience leading-edge social-emotional learning in your classrooms.
Thanks for watching that. It was pretty fast moving, so we're going to recap a little bit and go a bit further and talk about what's in the program, starting with the lessons. So there are 26 lessons in each grade spread across 4 units. So again, each grade's lessons span these 4 units in order. Unit 1 is Mindsets and Goals. Unit 2 is Values and Friendships. Unit 3 is Thoughts, Emotions, and Decisions. And Unit 4 is Serious Peer Conflicts. So in Unit 1 with Mindsets and Goals, this is a unit in which students develop a growth mindset and learn research-based strategies for achieving goals. The lessons can be applied to social and academic aspects of their lives. In Unit 2 with Values and Friendships, students learn to make decisions based on their personal values and to build strong friendships and relationships while avoiding negative ones. Unit 3 is about thoughts, emotions, and decisions, and in this unit, students are taught the relationship between thoughts, emotions, and decisions, and learn strategies for staying in control when they're experiencing strong emotions. Unit 4 covers serious peer conflicts. Students are taught how to identify, avoid, and resolve serious conflicts, and they also learn strategies to prevent bullying and harassment. The video also talked about advisory activities. About 2/3 of middle schools nationwide have an advisory program in some form or another. So with the Second Step Middle School program, not only do educators get the resources they need to teach social emotional learning lessons, they also get everything they need to complement an existing advisory program or create a new one from scratch. So there are nearly 200 scripted class meetings, class challenges, and service learning projects that are included as activities to reinforce similarly themed weekly SEL lessons or serve as standalone experiences. So any staff member can access them with the purchase of a school-wide license, and the user interface makes it really easy to search for resources by theme. So to look further into the possibilities for your specific advisory situation, you may want to check out our downloadable advisory program guide PDF that's available on secondstep.org, and this provides you a variety of sample scheduling scenarios along with activity samples. You may also be wondering about professional development. The purple section you see on screen is our professional development section. It provides staff with 2 learning opportunities. Program training familiarizes educators with program concepts and research and teaching tips. And professional learning is a series of short modules that help bolster educators' social emotional skills. So both can be completed individually or in groups. For administrators, the Principal Toolkit adds support to their important function with implementation tools and an online dashboard that they can easily keep tabs on programs' usage and success. This part of the program is available with the purchase of school-wide licenses only. So also included are on-demand tutorials, an SEL rubric, academic resources, and family communications. Now moving on to what we have that was mentioned in the video that you just watched, Parenting Connect. It's really our way to support families along with the new middle school program. So we've introduced Parenting Connect, which is a free public website that anyone can access at parentingconnect.org. So this online resource was designed by the same team of social emotional learning experts who built the Second Step Middle School program, and it's highly complementary to the program. It brings together SEL concepts and strategies, new Real Voices videos, and real-world parenting advice to create opportunities for parents and teens to communicate and connect with one another. We won't go there now, but if you have a moment to explore it separately, I encourage you to do so. Again, it's parentingconnect.org, and on there you'll find some conversation starters, quizzes, Real Voices videos of teens and parents sharing their views and experiences, and a wealth of expert advice from adolescent parenting expert Dr. Laura Kastner, who wrote Getting to Calm. And we also have go forward planning tools on there as well, so I encourage you to check that out. Parenting Connect is also woven into the Second Step Middle School program itself. So there are 8 advisory activities in the program that challenge students to think about different perspectives around the topics of screen time, independence, responsibility, and communication. Students are then prompted to take the conversation further at home using the resources on parentingconnect.org. So again, this resource is a family outreach component of the Second Step Middle School program that also happens to be a free resource open to the public right now, today. So feel free to check it out at parentingconnect.org and share it with any other parents or teachers if you like. So now you should have a pretty good idea of what's in the program, from SEL lessons and advisory activities to home resources. We know it's important to you that the program is research-based and that it's comprehensive. So hopefully we've demonstrated that it's both of those things. It's also responsive to the needs of today's middle school teachers and students. So what do we mean by that? One thing we know for sure is that in order for SEL programs to be successful, it has to work for teachers and the daily demands that are placed on them. So what are teachers saying? They like that it's easy to use. It has an intuitive interface that teachers have really embraced. The lessons require little prep time and take about 25 minutes each. We worked really hard to make this program fit educators' schedules. Teachers also love the flexibility. With all those advisory activities we just talked about, they're free to expand or adapt content based on their classroom's unique situation. As far as variety, it's a real strength of the program that there is so much material, enough to cover weekly lessons for the full 3 years. The all-new lesson design and the different kinds of activities really help teachers connect with students and engage every type of learner. The program is really fully loaded, as we already talked about, but the fact that everything you need is included, combined with the fact that it's fully accessible online, makes it easy and an unprecedented way to bring social emotional learning to all your students, whether we're talking about a classroom, a school, or a district. It's never been easier or more practical to make SEL a school-wide or district-wide priority, and to be successful in building a connected culture. So why do students love it? Well, it's relevant is what we're hearing from them. Instead of scripted lectures, we created engaging discussion-based content that's practical for situations both in and out of the classroom. Many lessons feature videos of real kids talking about issues applicable to their daily lives. And with the program's depth and range of material, lessons always feel fresh and interesting. One thing that makes the program stand apart is the strength and variety of its media. 70 videos are woven through the program that bring lessons and scenarios to life. In fact, the program's videos were recently honored with the 2018 CINE Golden Eagle Award for Children's Programming. An extensive range of original content, stop-motion animation, and custom illustration infuses the program, adding up to an experience that engages students and makes social-emotional learning relevant to them in their everyday lives. So just a pause on how the program promotes student agency. Students learn to solve conflicts on their own, which is especially important since teachers don't control what's happening with their students out of school or online. And the way the program is taught, with teachers facilitating instead of lecturing, removes the wall between teachers and students. It makes the teacher a part of the lesson. We've heard over and over how important that dynamic is in helping teachers and students forge a real connection with one another. And as you heard in the first video I showed you, that connection really matters to students as well. They need to have you on their side of the table to have these conversations in an authentic way. So although a number of elements can influence the quality of a school's implementation, research consistently shows that the most important factor is principal leadership and support. It's vital to the implementation of any social-emotional learning program that principals are on board. The Second Step Middle School program's Principal Toolkit provides tools and resources to help principals support the program's success in their schools. There are resources for communicating within the school and wider community, tools for monitoring progress, and recommendations for evaluating outcomes. Together, these tools give principals everything they need to set a course for success, to also track program progress, gain teacher and community buy-in, and ultimately achieve the positive outcomes of school-wide social-emotional learning. The middle school program is an online license-based program with a few different options depending on your implementation plans and budget. Those colorful boxes contain pricing for the school-wide license of 3 different durations: 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. So by going school-wide with the program, every adult in the building gains access to its lessons, resources, activities, and professional development, creating a common language across the school and an environment where all students can be supported in and out of the classroom. The school-wide license also comes with a principal toolkit so administrators can effectively lead and communicate the program's implementation and monitor progress over time. Individual licenses are also available, and those are useful for trying out the program, but keep in mind the individual license option is for a single classroom for 1 grade, so 6, 7, or 8, with 1 user login and the ability to create 1 class in the online portal. The ability for each user to create multiple classes, all staff school-wide access, and the principal toolkit are not included with those individual licenses. So notice that there are cost breaks with longer license terms, so if you are ready to make a longer term commitment, you can definitely take advantage of that. And again, this gives you a few different options depending on the implementation that you have in mind for your school or district. So as we finish up, I'd like to give you a glimpse into some of what teachers and students have told us about their experience with the program in their classrooms so far. So I'm going to load another video into that multimedia viewer.
When you take a look at this Think and Share, what thoughts do you think that these students are having? When you look at each one of those students, they kind of have different expressions and things like that. What do you think that they're thinking right now?
My students love the Second Step program. From the very first time that I've showed the lessons digitally, they love it because it's something different every day.
Every kid needs that common language and needs the ability to feel comfortable before they can do anything academic. So it's so important, I feel like, to be able to know that, yes, we're here to learn academics, but also we're here to grow as a person.
That social component of middle school is everything. You know, if you can manage your emotions, then you're going to learn at school. And if you can't, then you're not going to learn anything because you're in that emotional brain.
Do you remember the beginning of the year we did these character building? If I was to talk to another teacher to share about the Second Step program, I would tell them it's awesome. I would tell them I love it. And the children love it. They ask, are we doing Second Step today? They want to do the program. What are the
I love the digital curriculum because I love that I can preview what we're looking at before the kids come in the door. I love that I can look at the online resources. I don't have to print anything out unless I want to. The kids are much more engaged in a digital component. There's something on the screen, there's something they can do, they can talk to each other. Then I'm going to reach every learner in the room, and that's what I want to do in every lesson.
There's cooperative activities, there's videos, there's independent writing. It's a little bit different every lesson, and that's what I like about it. It's routine because the kids know what to expect, but they don't know how it's going to be laid out exactly every lesson.
If I could go back in time and I could fix that.
I've really enjoyed having the real voices because it's given us a bunch of chances to see how people see their problems differently and how they cope with them. It's cool to know that they're speaking out for themselves and you're not hearing it through someone, so it's actually their personal experiences and it's like real life.
Hearing kids their age talk about these things, it's so much better than having, old me tell them, what things were like back in my day. When we have advisory on Friday, I know what I've already taught, and I know what the kids are struggling with socially, so I'm able to frame our advisory around what's going on, here are the resources, this is what we talked about, and bring it back in and have them come up with solutions within those components.
Why do people say some things online or in a text that they would never say to you in person? Yes.
It's less intimidating to take that a text message than to say it to someone.
It's less intimidating. Very good. It's relevant for them because it does bring in their issues of today. This is not old school. This is something that's happening right now that they need to understand about themselves, about others. So I believe it's absolutely relevant to today's society and the issues going on in the world.
I think students should learn about online values because they sometimes say things and they don't even know why, but most of the times they won't say it directly to that person because they're scared or insecure.
I think it's important because it can help us out in real life and it's relatable, so we can use it on an everyday basis.
That one's a hard one because everybody is.
It's been nice because it talks about social media. It talks about internet safety to a degree. It also talks a lot about their relationships and what they're dealing with and kind of how to deal with those things. So a lot of the things that kids normally won't bring up on their own, they're actually bringing up based off of the conversations that we're having in the classroom through Second Step.
I think Second Step should be in every school. Our students need it. That students need a forum to talk about what it is they're feeling. I think a lot of times things in the world happen because we've not given students a forum to express themselves, and I think Second Step allows that.
So let's dive into some more of those resources that I said that I would leave you with. Whether you are just beginning to think about SEL or you're in the middle of your review process, or if you're just curious and want more information about this program, here are some really useful things that we have online for you to take the next step. So notice that there are documents with more in-depth coverage of the program's features and underpinnings, as well as academic and behavioral standards alignments. We also have a series of Meet the Makers videos that allow you to really step into our offices and hear what went into this program and its development and why. So you can find this URL on the screen there for you. We will be following up with a copy of this presentation in the follow-up email for those of you who have attended today. And you'll also be able to find out more about our 2-week free trial of the program if you want to have a more in-depth look at the program before making a purchase. So that URL, secondstep.org/middle-school-program is where you'll find all that information. And these links, as I said, will be included in that copy of the presentation that is emailed to you in our follow-up. So I'm going to hang around for a good while here and ask me any questions you like. I'll try and get them answered for you. But if you need to leave, I understand you have a busy schedule. You're getting ready for a new school year. So thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I hope you learned some things. And if you need any other questions answered at any other time, our client support contact details are on the screen in front of you. So please take a note of those. We'd love to help you out. Okay, great question, Jake. Jake asked if the scope and sequence has changed at all with the revision of Second Step since its 2008 version, specifically the 8th grade. Yes, to all grade levels. The program is not just an update, but a completely different program to the 2008 version. So the scope and sequence has changed significantly, and you'll be able to access that if you go to secondstep.org, or you'll have the link to that in the follow-up email as well. Good question from Christine asks if you can skip around with the lessons or do you have to follow lessons as they are prescribed? Great question, Christine. We get this a lot, actually. The lessons themselves are designed to be taught in the order that they appear. There is a heavy research base as to why that is the case, and the content of the lessons builds on the content from the last lesson that was taught. So yes, the lessons are designed to be taught in the order in which they appear. However, the advisory activities, of which there are nearly 200, can be picked and chosen at your leisure according to what looks relevant or engaging to you. So they can be taught or delivered in any order for the advisory activities. Okay, question from Crystal, who asks, I have the Second Step books that have 13 lessons, so that sounds like she's talking about the 2008 version. Are these still being used, or is there a lot of change? So there are a lot of changes from the 2008 version. However, many schools who bought the 2008 version when it was alive and well, which it still is, are using it very effectively. So it really is still being used widely across the country. The 2008 version is. There are a lot of changes between the 2008 version and the one that was released last year in 2017. So we are a good question from Karen. We are a 5th through 8th grade middle school. What would be the best way to get access to 5th grade curriculum? So Karen, we do actually sell curriculum for preschool through grade 8. So we do have grade 5 kits available. I would suggest looking into those for your 5th graders. And then this program that we just discussed today would be the best option for your 6th through 8th graders at that middle school. Okay, question from Tracy. Where do I find the lessons? So you'll need to purchase the program in order to access the lessons. However, we do have samples online at secondstep.org, and we also have a free trial for 15 days that you can sign up for at secondstep.org as well. So all of the information there is at secondstep.org/middle-school-program or curriculum, sorry. This one right here. Program, secondstep.org/middle-school-program. So again, you can find sample lessons there as well as more information about the 15-day free trial. Follow-up question for Karen, who asked about the 5th through 8th grade middle school. Just to clarify, Karen, the 5th grade kit is not a digital kit. It is a physical binder of materials with lessons within that. So be able to purchase the school-wide license for the digital program for middle school, which is 6th through 8th grade, and then you would buy separate kits for the 5th grade, and they are physical kits, not licenses. Okay, good question from Gretchen. Are the lessons broken down by grade level, and are there activities geared specifically for each age group within middle school? So the lessons themselves are, yes, definitely broken down by grade level, and each year builds on the last as well as each lesson building on the last. So there are grade 6 lessons, grade 7 lessons, and grade 8 lessons. The advisory activities themselves are not broken down by grade level. So you can choose, and we make it easy for you to choose which of those nearly 200 advisory activities to pair with the lessons that are being taught, because we have program themes that are linked with every lesson and every advisory activity. So you can teach a lesson that perhaps has a theme of growth mindset, and then you can go and look for advisory activities that also have the theme of growth mindset to pair and teach alongside that lesson if that's the theme that you want to travel with. Okay, good question from Jonathan. I have 1 day a week, 45 minutes total. Should I set aside more time, or will this be okay? So if you do currently have work with what you've got, that 1 day a week, 45 minutes total, you could teach a lesson and do an advisory activity in that time. If you do have more time to dedicate to SEL, then the more the better. But if that's what you have to work with, you could definitely teach the lesson each week and do a follow-up advisory activity with that as well. So I hope that helps, Jonathan. Good question, another one from Jonathan. Also, are there ways to track progress of the students since being on the program? So Within the program itself, we do not track progress of students. We do have assessments within there, summative knowledge assessments within each unit for each grade level that is able to assess the knowledge of students and the content that's being taught. In terms of assessing outcomes of students, we pair with several other agencies that really specialize in assessment, and you can find more information about those on our website at secondstep.org. I will point you in the direction of the details on your screen. You are more than welcome to call our client support services on 800-634-4449 or email them at support@secondstep.org. If you have any follow-up questions, we are happy to help. We are really love talking to teachers and district people who are looking to improve the connection that their students make with schools. So hopefully I've answered most of those questions today, but if anything comes up along the way, please feel free to reach out. We are more than happy to help you in any way that we can. Okay, Gretchen had a good question. Just one last one before we head off here. Are students logging in and using their own devices to engage with the material, or is it just what is projected by the facilitator? The latter. It is just projected by the facilitator, being the teacher. Students do not need any access. We do not take any student data. It's just the teacher who logs into secondstep.org and facilitates the lesson through a projected lesson on screen. So you can definitely check that out and get more of a feel for it with that free trial that I mentioned on secondstep.org. Okay, that seems like it's it. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.